Question 4. Who would the audience be for your media product?
What we decided to label our target audience as was between the age bracket of 15 to 20-year-olds. We also wanted it to apply to both genders so that it would be suitable for more of a broad audience. We obviously made an independent, low-budget film, and we needed it to be an audience of people that weren't looking for this rather than just sticking to this typical Hollywood blockbuster films. So we wanted our target audience to be intellectual people that did search for this type of thing. We also made a genre that was horror, so we needed our audience obviously to enjoy the genre of horror and to like to be scared and things like that.
The reason we chose 15 to 20-year-olds as our actual target audience is because we thought they'd be more likely to come across the film as they were looking for an independent horror movie. It also meant that they were more likely to enjoy the film because they were the ones that were looking for it. Lastly, we thought that it would be easier for us to create our film because we were our own target audience and we know exactly what we were looking for.
We then had to think about how we were going to apply our decisions to our actual target audience. Firstly, we went to think about our choice of actors and who we wanted to play who in the opening sequence. We were wanting to have 15 to 20-year-olds being portrayed in our piece, and our target audience was 15 to 20-year-olds, so this worked out quite nicely. Secondly, we had to think about our chosen genre. Because we were going for like a horror film, we decided to do a questionnaire to see whether the 15 to 20-year-old age bracket would actually like a horror film, and it turned out they did. Then we had to think about the psychological element within our piece. Because 15 to 20-year-olds are seen as quite like an intellectual age group, we thought a psychological element would fit quite nice into our piece to stimulate some imagination. Then we went to think about the music. We did a lot of research into sort of what music we could include in our piece and found the American Horror Story title sequence. We then chose to take the music from the American Horror Story title sequence and use it in ours because hopefully our target audience have at least heard of American Story, if not watched it. Lastly, we did a bit of research into the American Horror Story title sequence director, whose name is Carl Cooper, and we found that he did the title sequence to the film Seven, which stars Brad Pitt, and hopefully, again, our target audience will have at least heard of Seven or watched it.
Obviously, we had to choose a BBFC age rating for our film, and we had to look really deeply into it. Our target audience is obviously 15 to 20-year-olds, so it needed to be at least a 15 because obviously if it was an 18 then our target audience wouldn't be able to watch it. So we did do some research into this and we found that the 15 BBFC rating did fit quite nicely with our film because obviously we wanted to include some swearing and drinking and maybe some sexual references and things like that because we felt that our target audience would obviously relate to this and enjoy watching it because it's types of things that they would do in their day-to-day life. And also we wanted to add some explicit violence later on in the film, like killing scenes and things like that, so that it would keep it more paced and action-packed, as obviously our age bracket would get quite bored with just a really simple storyline. We wanted it to be more action-based so that they would enjoy watching the film much more.
The research that we actually did to find our target audience were 2 different questionnaires. The first was picking which genre you liked, and we gave this to a wide range of age groups from about 10 to 50 odd. This meant that we got to see who actually wanted to watch horrors rather than just assume who wanted to watch horrors. From our questionnaires we found that teenagers 15 to 20 were most likely to watch horrors. The second questionnaire we did was to our target audience, and this was to find out what they wanted to see in a horror. This was things like violence, swearing, drinking, stuff like that. And once we'd done that, we talked to one of our target audience, and he's Dom, he's down below. And we wanted to see what he wanted to see in a horror movie.